welcome back to Master Sight. Today I have game 4 of Crossroads for you here, where I'm going to be facing off against Gabe, Toth, and his Dwarves. So this is another rematch round. So Gabe and I played last round of Masters from Washington, D.C. We had an excellent game. Came down to the final roll of the dice, as it were. So yeah, looking for some payback because Gabe did pull out the win on that one. So um, yeah, let's dive into Gabe's list and then we will get into the game here. So Gabe is running a very similar army to what he had a couple years ago, or last year, I guess it was now. It was only a year ago. So he has 2 regiments of Iron Guard with Mastiffs, 2 Berserker troops. One has Fire Oil, which won't come up. An Ironclad regiment with Mastiffs, 2 Steel Behemoths, one of them being Gallic. Dwarven Stone Priest, knowledgeable with Celestial Restoration. He has Faber. He has a Dwarf Lord on Large Beasts. He has the Formation with Dogs on the Regiment, Hammer Measured Force on the Horde, and Loot on the Army Standard Bearer. So brings him out to 14 drops, 25 unit strength. And 2 of those drops being individuals. Yep. So 12 scoring units. Yeah, very defensive list, very tough list to break. The throwing mastiffs are obviously excellent against my army, so yeah. So dwarves in general have a good counter to my army. But Gabe was the one that called me out, so I got to choose the scenario, and I chose my favorite scenario probably in the game at the moment, which is the updated Protect and Raze. So it's same as the old Raze, except for any tokens that are not burned by your opponent, you can control like their pillage tokens at the end of the game. So very simple, elegant adjustment, but it's really taken the scenario to another level, I think. So, and here's Gabe. Gabe and I talked quite a bit over the weekend, and Gabe is just such an awesome dude. You know, don't get to see him much or hang out with him much, except for a couple of these events that I make out his direction. So really got to know him a little bit better this weekend, and man, wish I got to hang out with him more. He's just a super cool dude. So so yeah, the terrain. So we are looking at the tokens. So I placed 2 tokens on the left hand side and 1 over on the right, and Gabe did the opposite. He placed 2 on the right hand side and 1 towards the left. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I don't think that's wrong necessarily on either of our ends. I think this large impassable piece really kind of hinders the ability to work around some of these tokens over here, but I had my tokens pretty well spread out. I didn't want to put a token. Normally, I want to put tokens on like the far edges of the board, but on the right hand side here with this impassable piece, I didn't actually want to put one on the far right because it's super hard for me to break a lot of Gabe's units for front charges. And with that impassable piece, he would be able to use that as an anchor to protect his flank alongside with the board edge. So it's possible he gets a really tough unit in that zone that I'm not able to break. So I had to adjust slightly, and I moved the token on the inside of that. So that's the only issue, I guess, with my normal or what I would like to see for my deployment. But But one thing I will say is that Gabe, his deployment of tokens, the two on the far right here, he tried to put as close as he could together. So these are exactly 12 inches apart, which allows for a horde of infantry to be controlling both tokens at the same time. So something to be aware of. It's good to set it up if you can take advantage of it, but setting it up this way, it actually allows me to more easily control these tokens than even if they were just, a couple more inches apart is all. So yeah. But deployment, Gabe stacked to the left side heavily. He has a couple tokens to protect over here. So he put the Brock Lord. I believe this is an Iron Guard unit. Yep. So defense 6. The defense 6 ones. I forget which iron is what, so I'm going to say defense 6 when it's that one. This is the Bulwarker Regiment troop of the whatever they're called, Berserkers. His horde with the Hammer of Measured Force. This is his other Bulwarker unit. The Naked Defense 5 regiment is behind here. So this is the one that doesn't, isn't part of the formation, isn't the Defense 6. And then over on his right hand side, he put both of his Steel Behemoths next to each other. The bear is Golok, the bull is the normal one. And then he has his last defense 6 unit, Faber, and the other troop over here. You'll see back here laying down is individual. That is his Celestial Restoration caster. And then in the center, this banner here is not actually attached to that unit. You'll see other banners look like they're in that unit. This banner is actually his Army Standard Bearer. And then on my left-hand side, seeing how Gabe deployed quite a bit over here, my goal is to just avoid a lot of that stuff. So I put both my Mind Screeches over here, Regiment of Scarecrows with the Tormentor troop. Then in the center, I have the Blade of Slashing Dreadfiend, a triple stack, which this is the J-Boot unit. Then I have another triple stack with the Helm of the Drunken Ram unit, Butcher Flesh Ripper, the Portal of Despair. I have a double stack. This is the last one, so this is, this is Blood of the Old Kings. The one token's Blood of the Old Kings. This is Helm of the Drunken Ram on the right. And then I have a Butcher Flesh Ripper and the Trickster's Wand guy all the way out there. So the roll off, Gabe won the roll for first turn, but he understands the assignment and knows that Wind Blast on the bottom of a turn is pretty crucial. So he gave me first turn, which, a lot of times in Raze you do want first turn, but Gabe does not have the speed to necessarily threaten turn 2 burning of these tokens. So I think he made the right choice here. So gave me first turn. Allows me to push up aggressively on the right-hand side, or, semi-aggressively anyway, which is my plan, to be semi-aggressive. And then allows me to just delay on the left, which is the whole goal. So, the Dreadfiend is in the center, is pushing up aggressively. I want to take control of this gap in his lines. And these chariot size monster bases are easy for me to kind of manipulate, as it were. He does have a lot of shooting and whatnot, so this Dreadfiend's gonna take some harassment, but realistically, what I'm looking at is he has to protect that token. He only has 2 unit strength there. I can get 2 unit strength there easily next turn if I want to go that route and burn it right away. But I feel like this is the flank that I'm winning, so I'm not in such a hurry. I don't want to put my units in bad positions, I guess, if I can avoid it. So so shooting, I put a few wounds on this troop of the Berserkers with the lightning bolts. Because I couldn't Wind Blast turn 1. If I could Wind Blast, I probably would Wind Blast, but So did the lightning bolts did 3 wounds, 4 wounds, something like that. So got them up to a few wounds. His celestial restoration is out of range of that unit, so that's why I decided to put these guys over here, as well as their ability to fly and potentially burn tokens and use wind blast. So they're just going to be their perfect delaying factor over on the left hand side here. So this is Gabe's movement for his turn. Um, and yeah, you'll see he just kind of moves up and does things, does ordered march things that dwarves can do, because that's things. So this is where he is. He just pushes up, he moves up so that this unit can unleash dogs. This one moves up to shoot. This regiment has range, I think, to unleash dogs back here, and then Faber has some shots, so he's going to try to start picking on the Dread Fiends a little bit here. And then Goluk ran forward, I think, as far as he could go, because he didn't want to get flanked by this guy, I think was the main reason. But yeah, so he pushed forward aggressively. Uh, his shooting did some wounds, but nothing huge to speak of. So then on to my turn 2. So yeah, do some adjustments with positioning. There's no charges that actually happen. So put the leader points just in the forest here with both of them. Gonna be wind blasting the Lord on or the defense 6 Lord backwards if we can. Try to wind blast another unit if we get that out of the way. So again, it's 100% a delay tactic here on the left. Center pushes forward. We're just getting in position. I believe first turn, or not first turn, but second turn, we're going to be using our wind blasts when we can and where we can. And then we get a little bit spicy, a little bit aggressive on the right hand flank here. So we back up the Dread Fiend. We move forward with everything else. You'll notice a Butcher Flesh Ripper is just behind this building. So that was the one that was sitting here behind this side. So it went forward, pivot, move, pivot. So it's facing towards this board edge, out of front arc of the troop and Faber. So the regiment can charge it, but it's going to expose its flank. So that was the goal here. The other one that was over on the right turned and replaced this one looking the opposite direction. So we're not allowing Goluk to get into anything spicy. If he moves forward, he hits this guy. Otherwise, his only other charge is the Horde. Yeah, so we are just trying to pin him in at this point. And then the Dread Fiend's just moving up here to be a nuisance. So yeah, so that is our positioning. And wind blast goes, we get successful wind blast there. The second one goes, we push back the defense 6 unit. The one in the middle pushes those guys back a hair, and then this is turn to do turn bottom turn 2 to Gabe. So on the left, he's pushing forward, he's repositioning, he's doing all the things here. In the center, he's pushing forward as well. Yep, nothing too surprising here. He is having to keep this horde behind that building because I do have this troop of tormentors here that will have fun if he pokes out. So yeah, that is what's happening over there. On the right, he can't really pivot a whole lot with this guy without coming in range, or 1-inch rule, but he's able to pivot just enough to get front arc still. So, and then this is where our first mistake happened. So this butcher here was supposed to just be bait for Goluk, right? But turns out the troop has enough room, just barely there, in between the building and my base. So, my bad. Definitely something I should be checking. not at all something I want to give away a flank there, but well, it forces the issue, I guess. We outnumber him on this side by quite a bit, so we want to just try to finish this fight off over here as quickly as possible. Even though 4 of these 5 units out here are defense 6 and a pain in the ass to deal with, so yeah, and then he had to run Faber forward this turns to block off a flank into his regiment. So my soul flares can't fit into the regiment at this point. So yeah, that's where it goes. And this is where we're getting the chaos. So um, I mentioned Gabe and I have played before, and in that game, we both just kind of handed each other back and forth like really bad dice rolls. So like he gave me like awful attacks and like snake eyes a couple times, and then I kind of returned the favor, but maybe not as much as Gabe did. So the first combat we get into, and he gets me up to 10 wounds, which is extremely low with this flank and everything. And then he rolls a 3 for the nerve. So he fails to kill the Butcher Flesh Ripper that he obviously should kill. Um, and so it begins. So that it's something. Yeah. But we'll see if I can capitalize on it. So, um, going into my top of 3 for me, and this is our movements. So, on the left, we move out of the forest, so that way this guy can't see us, that guy can't see us. We're in a position where we can see this unit and get a wind blast off, potentially, or I forget, maybe I went for a lightning bolt. I'm not sure. We'll see. And then in the center, we back off a little bit. We get. So we had some weird positionings on how it would actually occur into Galak for flanking purposes. So the horde doesn't have to go, but it was, um, yeah. I don't think they had to go. Maybe. Maybe they do. No, they don't have to. But it was one of those where I was looking at, can I get this Soul Flare unit into the flank without it being hindered? And the answer is no. At least not the way that I was looking at it. It was no, like I can't get a double charge anyway. It's because yeah, it's just the way the leader points line up. So the Soul Flares were the furthest onto the left here, so they were always going to end on this side, whether they charged with the Horde or with the Tormentor troop. And there was, because of my positioning and his unit, there was no way that I could actually maneuver this Horde in such a way where it would block off an unhindered charge to allow for the Soul Flares and the troop of Tormentors to get in. So it was just not possible for me to get in there. So unfortunate, but what I did instead was I took the double charge in this way. So double flank front. I repositioned the Dread Fiend over this way so that the Golok cannot countercharge the troop. His base is too fat, too deep. He doesn't fit anywhere over here, so he can countercharge only those 2 units. Um, so trying to keep my better units alive if possible. Then over a little bit further here, we charge the troop with the horde and hit it in the flank with the Dread Fiend. And then Gala or Faber, you'll see back here. We charge with the Helm of the Drunken Ram unit, but then we also have a nimble charge around. People corkscrews usually, honestly, don't happen a lot in this game, and it wouldn't have happened here because if he killed the butcher as he should have, his reform was going to block off this lane that my butcher has. Um, so it's only because he failed the kill here that this butcher is actually able to hit the flank over there. So yeah, we have the potential to just blow this flank wide open this turn. Um, yeah, we'll see if we can accomplish it. That's our goal here. What is this picture of? I think I wind blasted. Yeah, double wind blast. So I have this guy here, this one here. So we wind blast the unit in the back first, then we wind blast from here there. So we get both those units back a little bit further. On the left, we do a wind blast. Yep. So just delaying. That's all this flank is here for. Delay. Force him to come at me. Yes. The dice have spoken. So he gives me a bad nerve. I give him one right back. We do 15 wounds. We roll a snake eyes. Yep. So devastated berserker troop, or not even devastated because they're dash 15 because of typos that Mantic has had since the beginning of third edition, and people have called this out, but it has not been changed. So good source of trivia for everybody that doesn't know out there. The only infantry troop in the game that has the wrong nerve value is troops of berserker infantry from dwarves and free dwarves. Every other unit is either a top end is a 14 that goes to an 18, like mummies. Um, there's very few 18 nerve regiments, or if it's lower, it goes from a 13 to a 17, like elite infantry. But berserker troops have a 15 on the bottom end, which is the nerve value of cav. The differential between cav troops and regiments is one lower than infantry troop to regiment. So again, it's 100% a mistype. It's been known, and it is still in the game. So, but yeah, take the good troops when you can. Most people don't take Brock or Berserker troops, and I appreciate that Gabe does. So, anyway, we Snake Eyes. It's bad. You know what else we didn't do? We didn't kill Faber over here. It's bad. We did. Well, I should say we. The Helm of the Drunken Ram unit came in and I think did 7 or 8 wounds in the front. And this Butcher Flesh Ripper in the flank with 10 attacks on 3s and 4s did 0 wounds. And we failed our nerve by 1. So we did the thing, boys. You know what else we did? I don't think I actually rolled my full flank value attacks. So we weren't killing him anyway, but we only did 4 wounds to Galak. So yeah, as bad as it was that he didn't kill the the butcher in the flank and everything, I just give it right back to him. And this just, yep, it is what it is, and it's just like our previous game where it's like, yep, we'll just suck at this game all around. So Gabe's turn, and this is bottom 3. So he is just pushing forward aggressively on this left flank, realizing that, yeah, well, why not? Because why not? So that's how he positions. He pushes forward aggressively in the center as well, because these are the phalanx units. So, or this is the phalanx unit. So every unit in there is fine. And then he did look. So this tormentor troop back here, he was able to move the horde in such a way that it was out of front arc. So that was probably a mistake on my part. I should have given myself much more visibility towards the center, because there's nothing that I'm really planning on doing over here on the left. There's some options, but I'm not. I'm more likely, or would rather threaten and jump into the center if possible. And then on the right, he countercharges the butcher, who's almost dead already. He countercharges here against the Dread Fiend, and he countercharges into these guys. Remember that Celestial Restoration guy back here? Yeah, those 8 wounds aren't going to be 8 for long. Let's see what he gets. He kills the Butcher Flesh Ripper, and I don't have a picture of it. I think he healed like 7 wounds. Not kidding you. He hit all 3 times. He got 6 or 7 back, I swear. So my flank that I'm sitting over here looking at saying, oh, I should win this one rather easily. Or not necessarily easily, but I have the advantage on this side. And then, a poor nerve roll, poor attacks in general for Gabe opens up an opportunity, and then just one bad turn, and it's looking pretty dire now over here in general. So we got a lot of stuff that he has to chew through. That's our only kind of saving grace at this point. But man, it is tough. Oh, he kills more than that. So he killed the Dread Fiend as well over here, and he shot off the other Dread Fiend this turn too. So it's not great. Both Dread Fiends down. The one of the butchers is taken off as well. So that's where we're at. So anyway, and then he healed back with favor. So we are not liking it at all. So movement, we are going for broke at this point. We say, well, oh, and he did burn the token that was over here because I'm only unit strength 2. He's unit strength 3 with the regiment. So he got the first token successfully. But I'll have the other token here, which we'll see. So over here, that troop has a bit of it hanging out, and my tormentors can see over all the height 2 stuff. So we charge him. He's uninspired, and he has 2 wounds on him already. So we're hoping for something here. And then my Mind Screeches over here, they had to fly over. So this one's not shooting at all. And I put them in such a way that between these 2 bases, this regiment doesn't fit. So the goal here is protect that troop if it does get a kill. Otherwise, if he wants to fight one of my, I think this one's out of front arc here. So if he wants to come and charge, that's a hinder charge, and then it also pulls him off the token. So the whole goal here is to just play around the fact that I know he won't want to leave the token. And then try and force the situation, since we're able to kind of jump the main line of threat, and we can do a 2-on-1. Try to pick on him with Wind Blast or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see if we can accomplish something and pull it back, sneak out a token that we probably shouldn't be getting. So. On the right, the Soul Flares come into the middle. We jump the line with the Tormentor troop. We don't charge. We just position our horde in such a way that it's a front from both of these. So we are just positioning more or less. But over here, the horde does charge the rear, which is going to be hindered. So it's less likely that they do as much damage. But you know what? He countercharged forward, so I had to charge the rear anyway. But it allows us to burn that token that was sitting here. So we are tied up with tokens at this point. And then because he countercharged this guy and the board edge is there, my Butcher can't actually see him because my own unit's in the way. So we are just stuck turning around, taking a front charge from here, and then we have to finish off the troop with this horde. So all sorts of just not ideal positioning on that right-hand side now. But left-hand side, it's looking okay, because you know what we did? We killed that troop. We overran. We put ourselves in a position here. So that's something. And then, the center, we were messing around with it. But, so this was after my turn. The only thing I killed, I think, was the troop. We got Golok up to a large amount of wounds and wavered him, which was nice. But without getting the kill, that opens up the rear charge. As you can see, this is already into the bottom of 4. But and we killed the other troops. So we killed both Berserker troops. Yay, we did it. So on the left, he is just positioning to stay within the token and to throw dogs. He's bringing this guy back to threaten. He is charging the regiment here. In the center, he charged with the regiment because he had nothing else that he was doing because there was a troop of tormentors behind here. Spoiler alert, he threw dogs one time and killed them, which isn't terribly unlikely. I mean, he's likely to waver, but it's yeah, killing him's rough. So the dice are bad dice early on. Now we're getting good dice from here on out, guys. That's all we're expecting. So Golok's still sitting here, still getting flanked and reared. This guy is rear charging the horde, and then his regiment charged the Flesh Ripper and countercharge there. So all those things are happening. So yep, there goes that troop. His regiment kills my regiment and reforms like so. And then I forget, I think he might have wavered this troop here with his dogs, if I remember correctly. So, yeah. And then he kills the horde, which is pretty well expected with a rear charge. So, and then over on the right, he does kill off my soul flares because I think Faber, out of the last 2 rounds of attacks, I think he failed to hit once. So he hit 13 times, and I think he did 13 wounds. So yeah, Faber's not fucking around today. He just got angry when he got charged. So but this butcher's still kicking, so maybe we got something coming. So Faber actually turned to look at the rear of the butcher here. And yeah, that's where we're at. So my turn. Going into top of 5. So our maneuvering is going to be tricksy as we can be. So on the left, we fly over with this one that was in the woods. The other one moves forward, gets into the flank arc, and says, "We're going to try and wind blast you off this token. And if we do, we just snuck a point. We get a point, maybe." And the troop that was wavered just turns. So, and in the center, we say, well, that's a flank on a phalanx unit. We got to take that. Yeah, this guy looking towards the center is a problem. That's just something we can't really mess around with. The regiment over here coming into the center is a problem. At this point, I don't think we're winning the center, boys. I think we failed so hard on the right side that we can't afford to actually win the center. But what we can do is we can draw units into the center. And yeah, maybe this token's still alive. Maybe those mind screeches can do something. We'll see. But you know what we got here? We got 2 tokens, and we got a single horde that's untouched right now that is sitting in between both those tokens. So, and then the Portal Despairs over here saying, "Well, I'm kind of tough to kill too." So, the 1 token we burned, or we've burned 2 tokens at this point. So we burned 2 tokens, and we're controlling 2 tokens. So this is my game plan. I'm sitting on 2 tokens. I burnt 2 tokens. I want to win 4-3 at this point. That's all I'm trying to do. I've lost the left, clearly. I've lost the center pretty much at this point unless some ridiculous things happen. So we're just going for the minimum win. Pull out the minimum win. But anyway, over here, as we said, we flanked over here. I did charge, pop J boots into this regiment. We're really hoping for some spike dice at this point. The likelihood of picking up a top end 16 nerve regiment with just a single unit is very, very low. So, and then we're trying to finish off Golok. So, which we do finish him off. In fact, we get several things going our way. We got the Wind Blast, so we burnt that token. And then we killed the unit in the center, and we did some. We were dead either way, so we just ran forward. I Yeah, there really wasn't a good option. If I ran forward far enough, he had to roll high on his wild charge. I ran forward in such he had to roll a 2 on the D3. So it's a 66% chance he gets it, but he gets it. So rightfully so. Um, and even if he doesn't get it, he has a flank on this horde, so it's like, oh no. But yeah, that's where we end up there. So he do yeah, so combats otherwise didn't go as or went as expected, I should say. We didn't kill that. We killed the unit there, so the bulwarkers, and we killed Faber. So we've got, or not Faber, Gallic. So we've gotten Gallic, we've gotten a bulwarker, and we've gotten two berserker troops. So over on the left, he charges the troop there. He charges the flank here. Um, yep. He hits the flank and counter charges there. He rears here. Over here, uh, he front reared the Butcher Flesh Ripper. This is after combats have already gone, so he turns to face like this. And then he killed the those guys in the center here and turns to face like that. You know what he didn't do though? He didn't kill these guys. They're at 20 wounds. He rolled a snake eyes. Um, yeah, this is it is what it is. I mean, it's not nothing, I guess, but it's really something that didn't I don't think is going to change the outcome over here. So he does 6 wounds because he was hindered, and he wavers this troop. So then it's top of 6, I should say. So top of 6, we are both very low on time. Uh, yeah, which is just spot on. That's what Gabe and I normally do. But I feel much more confident with the amount of time I currently have, because I know that I have very minimal key decisions to make. The main thing is keep these tokens alive at this point as best I can. And then because everything else, like nothing else matters, just these two tokens for me. Everything else, like I don't care if I kill anything, I don't care anything else. I'm gonna move and do stuff and roll dice, but I'm gonna make sure I have the time necessary to make the choices over on the right hand side appropriately. Yep. So this is after my movement. I just walked away. He charged over here. I just walked away because he didn't do enough to waver me. The other Mind Screech that was over here is flying towards the center because, well, there is a token there. Maybe, something happens. In the center, I charged around or not around, but I didn't charge the, defense 6 tank that I was never going to kill. I hit the horde in the flank here, and then I countercharged with the soul flares, thinking that this horde is the most likely unit that I could kill, which is still extremely unlikely. But again, I have the time. I rolled the dice. I made sure I had that. And then I bring over the Troop of Tormentors again for possibilities on a turn 7. Because honestly, if this unit dies, this 1 unit strength is not going to save that token. And he's Celestial Restoration to where Faber has no wounds on him anymore. So I'm never killing either of those 2 units. So because of time restrictions, my pictures were few and far between at the very end. But this is after Gabe's turn, and then we did get a turn 7. So Gabe's turn, I didn't kill anything. His turn, he finished off the troop there. He countercharged with the horde and brought everything in against my horde of infantry in the middle. So he did that, and then the regiment finished off uh, the soul flares. On the right, he hasn't done enough to threaten this unit, but turns his bottom of 6 is where Gabe clocked out. So he finished off what he had in his turn, um, and so his units finished where they are here. Um, except for this regiment was sitting within 3 inches of that token. So Gabe rolls. There is a turn 7. I have like a minute and a half left on the clock, and I look at him and say, the only thing I'm doing, move 6 inches or as close as I can to the unit. I cast Wind Blast. I got a 5 out of 6 hits, and it shot all the way over there, and then I burned the last token. So it went from a 4-3 victory for me to a 5-2 in the end. Because Gabe has the center token and he burnt one. I burnt all 3 and I controlled 2 of his at the end of the game. So yeah, just a really good game. Nothing. It felt like nothing went according to plan. Like the shit show that happened on turn 2 for both of us just threw everything out of whack. But you have to be able to react to things not going the way they're supposed to go, because and both of us have armies that are fairly reactionary, have options to recover from bad dice or poor positioning potentially. And so yeah, this is where the game ends, and it was an excellent game. I think uh, these types of games, and this one in particular, for me on the weekend, I think was my top game, my favorite game. Um, and for me, it's a combination of being able to utilize a lot of the tools that my army has, especially when it comes to wind blast, when it comes to some of its mobility. When you go up against a very stout line, stout units that you're not killing easily. Um, my army in general, if you look at just stat values and you say, well, head to head, this army never actually kills anything. My army relies on flanks and positionings, right? But the other thing it does extremely well is it's surprisingly well at playing scenarios. And that's why I thoroughly enjoy this type of a scenario where there is a progressive scoring aspect throughout the game, so you always have to be aware of that, as well as a big score at the end of the game if you've been able to manage those tokens that your opponent can burn fairly well. So um, in the end, 5-2 victory, so I believe I get like a +2 on scenario. But attrition was not favorable for me. In fact, I was down almost 1,000 points of attrition at the end of the game. So that brings it back to a +2 for Gabe in that category. So in the end, it was a 14-7 victory for me. So like I said, excellent game. My favorite game of the weekend. Just a lot of tactical positioning on both sides, and a lot of things that didn't go according to plan. So we both had to reevaluate and reposition. So, if every game is clean and goes to plan, then yeah, good for you, I guess. So, but awesome game, Gabe. I'm glad we got to play again. This event I'm dubbing the Revenge Tour for me, because everybody I've played that I lost to a year or two ago now. We got to win back in that column, so bring it back to even. So, it was a pleasure playing you, Gabe, and I hope everybody else enjoyed the report as well. I will have the last game up as soon as I can. So appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.